Alright, what's up, guys? So, dear Dia, she has uploaded a video titled "The More Creative You Are, the Dumber People Think You Are." Yeah, because I can say for myself that when you display your, like, just, creative side and stuff, people don't take it serious, and yeah, there's probably a line of it where, people think that, like, oh, you're acting like a kid, or you're a kid, you have a kid mentality or whatever. And it's like, no, I find peace in me being creative, so whether it's writing, whether it's making music, whether it's just creating like just random art and stuff, like this is what makes me comfortable. Like, if fam, like lately I've been like writing a story based off of the video game The Division. And then I did say I was gonna take a break from like making like music that like I'm publishing like on Spotify and Apple Music stuff, but I did want to work on music where it's like background music for content creators and stuff. So yeah, it's like people don't take that serious, and at the end of the day I'm like, that's on them, like that's why I'm like, people like that, you can't listen to them, you can't like allow them to have a say so in your career. So that's why I'm like, yeah, people, they say what they want to say about my content creating career or anything that I'm doing. I'm like, hey, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I'm still gonna do what I do to that makes me feel comfortable. So if you don't like it, fam, that's on you. But anyways, yeah, people like myself, dear Dia, where it's like that's something where I'm like, just from the few videos that I've seen from her, it's like you could tell that, like, I don't know what it is that she does, like, or like creative wise, like whether she's painting or sings or makes music, like whatever they like for like beat production, stuff like that. But regardless of whatever art she puts out, you could just tell by how she carries herself in her videos that she's one of those creative people where if I needed advice on something and she was like a, like, I guess like a source to get advice from, yeah, I'm like, I would take that advice and I would run with it as far as I possibly can, probably all the way up until I'm elderly. So yeah, it's people like dear Dia, where it's like, she may not be like president of the United States, but she's one of those people where it's like you could tell that she's a leader, so. But anyways, yeah, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to dear Dia, show love, show support, be greatly appreciated. And with that being said,
I remember when I was in elementary school, I would raise my hand and give a suggestion to the teacher, and every time I'd give a suggestion, they would always call me a creative kid. Almost every single teacher called me creative. And I was always so confused because everyone else would give suggestions and they would be like, oh, whatever, let's take their suggestions. It seems pretty plausible. Whenever I said something, nah, oh my god. And it's totally fine when you're younger. I mean, everybody likes to praise kids for being creative. But the moment that you get older, the moment that you face the real world and you're creative, you're cooked. Because
yep.
you start getting called dumb. There's a reason you clicked on this video. You probably resonate with that.
It's like, and it's messed up. That's the world that we live in, where it's like, because I just remember when I was very first was getting into content creating, because the original plan, so like this was like right after I had graduated from high school, so I was just taking some time to just be like, okay, like this is the first time in my life where it's like, after summer vacation, I'm not going to school, because like I would have, might have went to community college, but I was like, nah, bro, I'm done with the school stuff. I'm like, I want to do something else and things. So it's like the first time where I'm like, okay, hey, I'm not going to school, but the plan was that I was going to enlist in the military. So I was either going to be in the Air Force, the Navy. I was thinking Coast Guards, but I was like, nah, I don't know. I'm like, it's either gonna probably be Air Force or Navy. So anyways, that's like a big what if in my life, where I'm like, a what if question, where it's like, what would I have been like if I would have enlisted? I don't think I would have been no different. Just would have been like more of a military mindset and stuff. But anyways, but yeah, when I had broke that news to my family that I was like, oh, I'm not gonna enlist in the military and I want to be a content creator, they was looking at me like, what? Like, what do you like? Still to this day, they don't look at content creating as a job. But I'm like, I don't ask nobody for money. I make my money through content creating. So like it's one of those things where it's like, you might not look at it that way, but you have to respect it. because I'm like it's one of those things where and it's I feel like people don't take you serious. Like they go from calling it dumb to like, oh, can you put me on? Can you help me out? Oh, let's do this, let's do that. But you got the bill, right? Oh, you could pay for this. Oh, I want to get the then it's yeah, and that's when you start making some real money and things. But when you making like if even before like even if you're making money that can like you can financially still take care of yourself still it's not enough, you know. It's like it's enough when it's like you show up with a Lamborghini and a check of like $1 million, like, oh yeah, it's like, you know, I'm getting ready to go to Dubai or something and just live it up and things. That's when it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do so. Yeah, it's messed up that that's how it feels, but yeah, that's like you look at anybody that's used their creative bone, it's literally the same story.
To a
But
certain degree. You think being creative is great until you go out into the world and realize that everybody puts IQ on a pedestal. And for years I felt stupid because maybe I don't have the highest IQ. If you're not
I know
somebody
I
book
don't.
smart,
I know my IQ. My IQ, it's in because they got like below average, average, and above average. Mine's is questionable. I'm like, do you? And it's one of those things where it's like you'll be looking at the question that you want to use your creative mindset because they'll be all like, oh, Johnny got 10 apples. He gave away eight, but cut half of them and stuff. And it's like, okay, why is he being difficult? You know, it's like that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, yeah, bump all the numbers and the math and all that stuff. Why is he being difficult, cutting up the apples and things? I'm like, did he cut them in slices or he just cut it in half? Slices I can understand, but like he just cut an apple in half and then did he cut the seeds out? I'm like, what? So yeah, that's I'm like, you know, my IQ it's questionable, but
okay?
anyways.
If you can't do school,
You're dumb.
if you think outside of the box,
You're dumb.
but what they seem to forget is that the biggest innovators, the people that are all the way up at the top, are the most creative people you'll probably ever meet. Interesting thing about them though is that they were not just creative. They brought their ideas into reality. They
Yup.
manifested every single one of their big ideas into the practical reality. And that is a skill. You know what's not a skill? Creativity. Creativity comes from your soul. The next time you feel stupid for being creative, I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to laugh at you because you don't even understand how big of a blessing you have. You know how many people would kill to be creative? You know
Yeah,
how many
because
people
well, I remember they had it where we did like this test thing where it was like, what are we going to do when we're older? And and it was like they had it where it's like some people it was like all these different like I guess like different genres of, you know, like I guess careers that people would be involved in. And I remember when I did mine, I did two of them, and both times it did say that I was gonna be like in a creative like arts field and stuff. So and then now look, I'm like I'm a content creator with 50 different YouTube channels. I'm like, yeah, displaying my creativeness every any chance I get to.
would
So
kill to have a shit ton of ideas because most people they can't come up with any ideas. Most of the time people are hitting a block in their creativity. You don't even realize how much of an unstoppable force you will be when you put that creativity center stage. When you put that creativity center stage and you start working on the skill of bringing that creativity into reality. Because your creativity and your ideas don't have to just be ideas. They don't just have to live in your head. They can live in your reality the
yep.
moment that you start working on that skill. I'm making videos. You think I always knew and had the skill to bring my ideas to center stage? No. That's why some of my first videos are kind of ass, bro.
Yeah, that's I you know when I remember when I my first few videos it wasn't, but it takes time. That's why I say like the first 5 years of me being a content creator, and that was like from when I was in school all the way up until like after school and stuff. But yeah, I had created it like right before I had gotten on my this channel right before I got into high school. So yeah, you check some of my there was a lot of videos I had took down, but if you had checked some of my videos from like back then, yeah, bro, I think I still got one of the first few videos up where I had talked on that bath salt situation. I think that was like one of the first few times like I actually displayed my voice and was talkative and stuff in my video. But yeah, but it was like when I very first got involved, bro, I remember I would record videos like I was awkward on camera, my voice was high pitched. Like because it was before YouTube, I would record videos. Like I would like to just go around and just record videos and stuff. And so yeah, I just remember like going and listening to some like there was one time I remember my mom had recorded me and my sister, we were like singing or something like that. I sounded like my sister. Like I and that was and I'm like, fam, I am a boy. I'm like, why does my voice sound like this? So yeah, high pitched. awkward on camera. But now it's like I'm more comfortable because I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like when you display enough of your creativeness, it's one of those, it gets to a point where it's like it becomes easy, you know. So yeah, it's like stuff like this is easy for me, but I still have my days though where I face challenges, but still.
The reason why they're filmed on a fucking iPhone 11, like they're not perfect, and that's the point.
Yeah,
You
mine's
learn a
just
skill like this,
iPod
you
Touch
need to fuck up
fourth
multiple
generation
times,
and an iPad second
you have to
generation.
get up every time. To be creative is also to be resilient. You have to keep getting up. You literally have the biggest blessing because nobody can replicate what you create. You create something and it comes from your soul. Nobody can recreate that. Anything that Apple does, they can't recreate that. That comes from Apple. There's no better creativity. That's the thing, because everyone has their unique perspective. Everything that you create is uniquely you. No one else can create what you create. I'll go as far to say creative intelligence is way more significant than having high IQ. Because you can be somebody who has a high IQ and still fail to come up with new solutions to certain problems. Sure, you can critically think, but can you think of new creative solutions? Not often. Creative people, they have a shit ton of ideas, whether or not they're plausible or not. Because in their sea of ideas, there are so many fish to catch, let me tell you. You know why you're so smart for being creative? Because you can come up with new shit. Nowadays, no one's original. With AI, nobody's original.
Yeah.
Even some of the people we see, like innovators, they might not
That's
even
why
have
I'm
that.
like, I don't, if I'm using AI, I use it more so because I'm like, I don't feel like scrolling through like hundreds of thousands of articles on Google. So I'll ask AI a question, but there's at times where I'm like, let me see if this is accurate. And then you know, then go and like Google stuff, watch some videos. So more so like just researching and things. But yeah, I don't just go based off of like, okay, AI told me this, I'm gonna listen. I got, and there's at times where AI is accurate, and then there's at times where it's not accurate. But yeah, I'm like, I still got to go and try to like, you know, do my research and stuff and be like, okay, let me come up with a legitimate answer. But when it comes to like creative stuff, like making music, things like, I have to say the most I've ever done is like, yeah, profile pictures. I'm like, that's as far as it, but it still has to go based off of something that I created. So yeah, but you know, I just, but I do that because I'm cheap. I'm like, you know, you, because people they be wanting to charge like $100 and something for it. I'm like, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with you being an artist. I just don't see myself paid though hundreds and hundreds of dollars and stuff. You know, it's like, cause yeah, it's more so like cause I stream. You see when them graphic art people be coming through the stream talking about like, oh yeah, it's like $50 to $100 for a profile picture. I'm like, hold up now, cause I got bills. I'm like, I ain't got time to be out here buying that. So
IQ. But they come up with new solutions. They come up with new skills, new ways to get around their own problems. And what does everyone chalk it up to? Oh, they have a high IQ. No, babe, they don't have a high IQ. They're creative as fuck. Just because you can't do math problems does not mean you're stupid. Being creative, being somebody who had a bunch of ideas, who dreamed big, was never a curse. It was always a blessing in disguise. And you didn't even realize it because you were in a community where you were told to shrink yourself, where you were told to not light up like you do about your ideas. Society really wants you to just stay in the box. Because the moment you think outside of it, they look at you like you're crazy. Creatives see differently, okay? And everyone sees differently, but creatives especially. They see things most people don't see. They read between the lines. Most people, they don't do that. If they have done that in the past, they've been told to dim themselves. Creativity is one of the things that have set innovators apart from any other person in the world. There's a reason why innovators are so looked up to, because nobody can replicate them. Just like how no one can replicate you, your soul, your aura, and your creations. So yeah, they're gonna call you dumb. And they probably did. A lot of people probably called you dumb. Because they can't even understand.
Yeah, I'm like, throughout my content creating career, because that's something that I've always have said about myself, that I was like, you know, I'm gonna make it big when it comes to content creating. I'm like, I'm gonna reach 100,000. People was doubting me, fam. So before I hit 100,000 subscribers, like let's go back like 7, 8 years and stuff, you know. So yeah, you know, I'm posting videos all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hit 100,000 subscribers, posting social medias like, you know, say I'm like one of the hardest working content creators out there and stuff. And yeah, people, they were just, you know, they were downplaying it. They was all like, yo, you're thinking too highly of yourself. That's stupid. That's this, that's that. So yeah, it's one of those things. There's nothing wrong with looking highly of yourself. It's just something that can't affect others, where it's like, you know, you think you're some sort of king or a god. It's like, think that, but just only for yourself. Don't try to force other people to think that, but I guess like more so force them to think that about themselves so they can, discover their creative bone. But yeah, I'm like, that's what I think. That's like, I never downplayed who I am as a creator and stuff. So then, yeah, then last year came around. I started, displaying my creativeness, and then, yeah, next thing I look up, I'm hitting 100,000 subscribers. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, people, if you got any sort of creative bone in you, don't let that, because I sit there and I think about it. What if I enlisted in the military and I never decide to become a content creator? Don't know how life would be. Probably would be struggling. Probably would be living the best life possible. But it's one of those things where I'm like, where I'm at right now, I'm meant to be here. So
The fact that you don't think inside the box. You know how uncomfortable that is for some people to think, oh, you don't think inside the box? Why do you think like that? Oh, that's unrealistic. Da 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 da. You know the people that dream big are the people that always make it. Anybody that dreams small always stays in their little comfort zone. It's funny to me. All the people want to hate on the big dreamers until they make it.
yep,
When the big dreamers, when they make it, everyone's like, oh, I always supported you.
yep.
Most creatives are always big dreamers, bro. They always have big dreams or they always want to get to the top in some way.
It's
Because
like
you're
that's the thing people don't understand. I'm like, it'd be them nights where whether I'm working on content, streaming, whatever it is, just overall, yeah, being creative and stuff. And yeah, it's like there's times where I get lonely, bruh. Like I ain't gonna lie, like that's one thing about being creative is that if people don't support it, it gets mad lonely. So that's why I'm like, when they come to me and they're like, hey, I'm wanting to get into content creating, or I'm like, hey, if you're gonna do it, but you do not let nobody discourage you. Don't let nobody tell you different. Like if you're gonna get into content creating, then get into it. I'm saying like fight with this. This is a dream of yours. Fight with this dream until you win this fight. So that's why I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, but do not allow nothing to discourage you. Don't allow nothing to like take you away from what you want to do. If this is something that you want to do it. All right. So, but
literally meant to get to the top. You're meant to create new realities. That's the point. You're not supposed to do the things that have already been done before. You're not meant to repeat things. A while ago, I was in the car with my friend and I was just talking to her and I was like, dude, I'm just kind of worried about this. Like, what if nothing really works out for me? Like, I have all these ideas, I have this big dream and I just don't know what I'm gonna do. What if it doesn't work out? She looks at me and she's like, Dia, are you serious right now? I'm like, yeah. She's like, Dia, dream bigger. And I looked at her, I was like, what? What do you mean dream bigger? She's like, dream bigger. Like, you're dreaming too small, dream bigger. She literally told me, make it more unrealistic. Because she told me the bigger you dream, the more likely you are to get to the original dream that you had in the beginning. Let's say you want to be a judge or a lawyer. What if you shoot for being the president? I know, it's a big leap, but think about it. If you shoot for being the president, you are more likely to get an even higher position than a judge. Think about it. She didn't even tell me this example, but I looked at her and I immediately understood what she was saying. I was like, that's facts. Like, you just spit bars, bro. And every time I doubt my dream, I think I need to dream bigger. When you start doubting your
yeah, I'm
dreams,
like, I'm that friend where it's just because a friend of mine, he said he wanted to get into content creating, so I had a spare computer, and I'm like, if you serious about this, I have a computer. You can have it. I'm like, it has good parts in it and stuff, so you can play whatever game you want to play. You can get whatever editing software you want to get. I'm like, I have extra equipment. I pretty much just wanted to purge some stuff and get rid of things. So I was like, I remember it was this tote bag I got from this sneaker store. Bro, I put RAM, I put graphics cards, I put processors, I gave him a keyboard, a mouse. Then on top of that, the gaming PC. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I told him, I was all like, yeah, I'm like that. But if you serious about this, go for it, man. I'm like, it's one of those things. I'm one of those friends where it's like somebody comes to me and they're like, I need help. I'm like, what do I need to do reaction videos or something? I'm like, a good computer, OBS Studios, a decent microphone, a good web camera. But I'm like, if you need the ones that I have, I will send you the links. If you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, I'm like, check Amazon. But I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm telling people, I'm like, you need this, possibly this. I'm like, yeah, I be going above and beyond with it and things. So
no, you need to shoot even higher. Because your soul knows you deserve more than that. The people that hate on the big dreamers are the same people that have been dimmed before and chose to keep their light out. They're the people that choose safe and stable over the possibility of something better. Some people like that are actually very humble, and then there's other people that have a fucking huge ass ego for no fucking reason, and they're always going to judge you for dreaming big. But
Yep.
if they do that, just tell them I'm a dream bigger bitch. If somebody has an issue with you dreaming big, they're just scared they haven't done it themselves, and
Yeah,
they're gonna call it
that's
unrealistic.
facts.
But when you start doing the thing that they think is so unrealistic, they're gonna be like, your potential is sky
Yeah,
high.
because I just remember so last year I was doing the like when I was like actively, because I when I had started blowing up off the voiceover videos, like I was recording voiceover videos left and right. So and at the time being, it was like I was stuck at like 30 some thousand subscribers. So anyways, I started doing the voiceover videos. And then at like that point, I was like, yeah, it was like 40,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers, 60, 70, 80. Like, and then I got to like that 90,000. And I'm like, fam, sometime today I'm gonna hit 100,000 subscribers. I'm like, I'm sitting there like processing it. I'm like, I'm gonna hit 100,000 subscribers tonight. Like, I know that I am. Like, this is because I mean, if it stops, I'm like, still the fact that I had got this close. I'm like, people were saying that I wouldn't even get to that point and stuff. So I'm like, man, you know. So anyways, I remember that night I was streaming. And then yeah, I had like a thing at the side. I'm like, I'm just playing. I think I was playing Destiny 2. And then yeah, when as soon as that number had switched to 100,000, it was like it was a big moment for me, because I'm like, fam, I've been doing this for 15 years now. So yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's just, yeah, dreams. It'll take some time. Sometimes it may be like instant. Like you look up, next thing you know, everything that you've prayed for, everything that you dreamed about, everything that you wanted, it's like it's there, you know. And then some days where it's like, it really. And I just think that with me, it was just like a kind of not like so much as like I don't know, like I was like skeptical of taking, like I think I'm being strategic, but it just gets to a point where it's like, nah, like whatever dreams I have, I got to attack it. So if I see myself doing this, I'm gonna do this. Like I just jump on that dream and I'm like, okay, like I'm going somewhere with this, you know. So yeah, I'm like, and then once I reach the point where I feel like I need to stop, slow down, whatever, I'll do that. But I'm like, it's still one of those things though where it's like I'm going to, with whatever it is that I go after next, God, it has to be like a dream big situation. So
moment you realize your power, and I promise you, once you do, you will be unstoppable. And I'm telling you, you're not stupid, you are just creative. And it's exactly why people called you dumb, because nobody can ever comprehend people that go outside of the norm. And unfortunately, creatives are always misunderstood. They never really fit in. But that's because you're supposed to pave the way. You're not meant to. You're meant to be a leader. That's it. Well, would you look at that? The camera's overheating. I should probably stop yapping now. Oh, it's actually really hot. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, follow my Instagram. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye.
Yeah, I'm about to, because I was like, she might be dropping some like inspiration on Instagram that I'm missing out on and stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead. Instagram. All right, search for that. There we go. Hold on for a second. All right, cool. I'm like, there we go. All right, so but yeah, I was like, it's stuff like that that's needed. I'm like, because my thing is this, I just know for a fact that I'm going to get to that, I'm gonna reach to that mindset, because that's the thing too. It's like you get into that mindset to where it's like, am I doing the right thing? You know, and then yeah, you think back on videos like this, and then it's like, yeah, I am doing the right thing. Even now, just watching the video, I'm like, with any doubt that I had in me, gone. I'm like, yeah, I'm really, it's stuff like this that it really, and it's inspiring and it motivates me. And I'm like, fam, I'm about to go above and beyond. I always like be telling myself that. I'm like, I have to outdo myself. I have to do better than what I had did before. So yeah, I'm like, that's just really the mindset that you have to have with content creating, creative, any of that stuff. If you trying to get your art in one of those like art museums, and do that. I'm like, whether you gotta like sneak it there in the middle of the night, set up some stuff to make it look like, okay, maybe not do anything illegal. But anyways, jokes aside though, like, nah, anything that you're wanting to do it. I'm like, if it's something where it's like, you know that it's going to benefit you at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, go chase those dreams, people. But anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later, guys. Shout out to Dear Dia. Make sure y'all go follow her on her socials, subscribe to her YouTube channel, show her the most amount of love and support. Like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.